My guest today is Army veteran and artist Dillon Krueger, and he has crafted a heartfelt children's book, Why We Stand, to teach the next generation about the significance of the National Anthem. Now, Dillon, who served in the United States Army Infantry and was deployed to Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom in 2011, wrote Why We Stand for his three sons, Liam, Maddox, and Asher. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Army veteran and author Dillon Krueger to the show. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, well, tell us, Dillon. Tell us about your time in the military.
Yeah, so I joined right after high school. I was out of high school for a month before I got shipped out for basic training. And I spent a year in Germany after doing my basic at Fort Benning, Georgia. And then I was deployed to Patika province, Afghanistan for a year in 2011. Then I got to go back to Germany for an additional year before I got out in 2013.
Wow, I mean that's so. Boy, right out of high school, why did you choose a military career?
Well, I've always had a love for art, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to make a career out of it. And growing up, my parents were always patriotic; they always supported that. So when I talked to them that I was interested in joining the military as a potential option, they were really supportive of that right away. And I thought it maybe could buy me some time to figure out how I was going to be able to do art for a living. And it's all kind of come around full circle now. It's been a pretty incredible experience. So
So, what did you do in Afghanistan?
I was 11 Bravo, so I was infantry. So we did a lot of foot patrols in the area of Patika province, and then we had an outpost in Marzak, Afghanistan. And so we had a area that we were in charge of patrolling and making sure everything was okay over there.
How stressful was it to be in Afghanistan?
It depended on the day. Some days were certainly a lot slower than others, and we were about 12,000 feet above sea level. And so in the winter, it got really cold, and there wasn't a whole lot of fighting in some parts of the year. Then other parts of the year it ramped up. So there's certainly plenty of downtime. Um, but yeah, then definitely when things started happening, it happened fast. So you didn't really have time. You just reacted, trusted in your leadership and trusted in your training. Um, and then the stress usually came later on, not during the actual incident, but later on after you think about what happened.
Oh, wow. So, what did you specifically learn in the military, and how has it helped you in civilian life?
Well, what the military instilled in me was a true love for my country and appreciation. When you especially go to some place like Afghanistan, we were in the area we were at, it was very remote, and many of the children there didn't even have shoes. Some of them had sandals, but a lot of them were barefoot. And you're up in the mountains or walk on rocks, and just gives you an entirely different perspective on how good we have it here in the U.S. And so that moving forward and back into civilian life as a veteran, your service never truly ends, and so that's what this book is all about. Is I'm so proud of my patriotism, so proud of my country, proud to be a patriot, and I want to encourage others, to have that as well.
I love that. Now, you have your own publishing company, Real Patriot Publishing. What is your vision for your company, and what kind of books do you publish?
Yeah, so currently we just have the one book out so far. It's Why We Stand, but I have a whole vision in my mind of all these stories I want to tell, and I created some original characters for the book, and I'm going to use those characters and all the stories moving forward. I have a whole series of books planned that I want to make.
I love that. And I went through and I read Why We Stand. So, for you, what was the inspiration behind it, and why was it important for you to create it?
Well, it was important to me because all the kneeling was happening for the national anthem, and I think there was a lot of confusion, and a lot of younger kids are being influenced, and they didn't really know why they were kneeling, or why it wasn't a good thing to disrespect what the meaning of the national anthem and what it really is all about. And around that time, I was having kids, and so I was reading a lot of children's books to them. And being an artist, I was looking at all the illustrations in a lot of these books, and I realized that was something that I was capable of doing. So then it kind of all just came together. One day I was sitting down and a little frustrated about the news and everything that was happening. I wondered how I could try to make a positive change. So I sat down and I spent an entire year. I illustrated the entire book and wrote it. And my wife is my editor, and so she looked over all my grammar and helped me out with all that. But all the illustrations are original, and so it's really my kids were the reason why I created this, and it's just been incredible to see how many people have enjoyed the book and all the families that in all the homes that the book is in now. So.
Well, was it one of your sons that had asked the question "Why We Stand," which led to the title of the book?
Well, they have a lot of questions about my service, and um, uh, something that gave me a lot of pride when they were really young is we'd be driving down the street and they'd point out the American flags and they would try to count how many American flags they saw. So I feel that from the beginning, I really tried to encourage them, to love their country. And so we certainly had conversations, like that, what the national anthem means, when I would take them out, why that sang that song. And so I'm sure that had a big impact on why that was the topic I went with for the first book.
Yeah, because you do cover some very important topics in the book, like you said, the national anthem, why we stand for the anthem, the cost of freedom. Have you seen a major shift between what we see now with patriotism in our country from one administration to the next?
I absolutely do. And I think it's been really inspiring to watch these past few weeks. And I do feel that a lot of young people are really beginning to show more pride and not be afraid to show that, and love their country. So I find that very encouraging, and I think we need to continue to promote it. And not only do I have the children's book, but also I'm a mural artist as well. So I have many outdoor murals around my area in Nebraska, and many of the towns, and they're all involve flags and some form of patriotism. So I think that that's really what God wants me to do, is to go around and try to promote this and the true values and traditional American values. And I do believe that in many ways this new administration is helping that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more people be more vocal about their love for America, the flag, standing for the national anthem. More so now, it's almost like people were afraid to show it or say it in the 4 years prior.
I think that's correct, and I think it was a real shame. It was hard to. It's just sad to see. Um, so I think the more people are feeling open and proud of their country and our culture, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think the oddest thing that I found was that 80% of the nation voted for Trump, but that 80% felt threatened for the last 4 years. And now, I mean, we know what freedom is now, and we're seeing it happen before our very, very eyes. And hopefully it continues for a long time to come.
Yes, I agree, and being a veteran of the Afghanistan war, the way that the withdrawal was handled and our 13 brave soldier members, lost their lives. Abbey Gate was an absolute tragedy, and Trump just recently was speaking about having some accountability for the leadership that failed our young service members over there. And there's no reason that withdrawal should have happened the way it did. And it's really is tragic for them and their families. They should not have been lost in that way.
Now, since you served time in Afghanistan, what was your initial thought that the previous administration was going to leave all that military equipment behind? Because normally, wouldn't we have brought all that home?
Absolutely, it's infuriating. To put it lightly, it's hard to even put into words when I remember watching all that unfold, and it's for a while there. I actually just shut off the news, and it's hard to process, hard to watch when we had equipment that got lost or equipment that got damaged. That sometimes we were sitting out there in a convoy for hours waiting for that equipment to be properly disposed of or destroyed or collected, and to just see that level of disregard for all the time, all the effort that's and all the sacrifice that's gone into that region by our American service members over these however many years. It's really was difficult to see.
Well, yeah, and it was instantly taken over by the Taliban, wasn't it?
That's right.
I'm just kind of wondering what in the world they would be doing with all that equipment, knowing that they don't have I guess the mechanical aptitude to keep all that stuff serviced and running, nor do they have the money.
Yeah, I think it probably a lot of the equipment probably ended up in our adversaries' hands.
Yeah, much so. Well, let me ask you this, because when you wrote the book "Why We Stand," what did your young sons think about it?
So I think the best part of the book for me, and which was really amazing to share with them, is I actually put a scavenger hunt throughout the book. So on every illustration, there's a hidden feather. And when I was before I published the book, that was one of the last things that I added. And so I actually brought the boys in, and I let them pick the a lot of the spots on each illustration on where to hide the feather. So that was always really exciting for them, is to go around and find them. And uh, so that was, yeah, that was the best part.
It was when I was reading through the whole book, and I caught myself looking at every page like, okay, where's the feather? And so I love the interaction that goes along with the story, because you have a father and son, and they're American Eagles, and they're perfect characters. The father comes across as very strong, teaching his son what it means to stand for the national anthem. And I loved the short history lessons that you put in with this book. But I love the interaction with the feather. I think it just keeps every child, even adults, paying attention to the story. But at the same time, they are looking for that feather on every page.
Yeah, like I said, that's definitely my favorite edition, and having the boys help me hide those feathers was really great.
So, where can my audience purchase the children's book "Why We Stand"?
Yeah, so they're available online at www.patriotickidsbooks.com. And then I'm also my publishing company, Real Patriot Publishing. It's on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And I also have links to the website on those pages as well.
I love that. So, what do you have any new children's books that are going to be on the way pretty soon?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot. I have a lot of characters, new characters I've designed, and new stories that I'm really excited to share. It's all patriotic themed, and I'm hoping maybe later this year we can have the second book out. So
Oh, I can't wait. And then when you get the second book out, you're going to have to come back so we can talk about that one as well. And give us the website again for those that would love to purchase this incredible children's book, Why We Stand.
absolutely. So yeah, it's www.patriotickidsbooks.com.
All right, patriotickids.com. And ladies and gentlemen, Why We Stand is beautifully written and illustrated. And the story follows an American bald eagle as he takes his son on a journey across the country, teaching him the history of the anthem, including the War of 1812 and the Battle of Baltimore. This book also features vibrant illustrations of some of America's most iconic monuments. So, in a time when the meaning of the national anthem and the American flag is often debated, Dillon's book offers a compelling way for parents to spark conversations about patriotism and respect with their children. Again, published through Dillon's veteran-owned company, Real Patriot Publishing, Why We Stand is printed in the United States and is available online at patriotickidsbooks.com. That's correct, Dillon?
That's correct.
All right. And again, patriotickidsbooks.com, Why We Stand. If you're a parent with young children, this is a perfect book to get. Sit down with your kids in the evening or even at bedtime, read them this incredible story, but make sure that you're sitting close together so both of you can search for those feathers on every page, because it's a great little treasure hunt for both parent and child to get involved. So again, I encourage everyone to explore this meaningful book and join Dillon's mission to promote patriotism among America's youth. So Dillon, I want to thank you so much for sharing this incredible children's book, While We Stand, with me today.
Thank you so much for having me on. God bless.
Hey, God bless you too, Dillon. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more.